Because Michael Spawn is so busted. When you see it, you quit. Yeah, maybe. Again, Michael Spawn is nice, but I wasn't. I was kind of feeling like the Icetills and the Overgrowths were like the better of the top end. Um. Oh yeah, and then this build compared to the Michael Spawn build is playing 4 Urza's Caves because they're not on the Michael Spawns. Again, it's not like super clear to me that this is the best version, but when you build 4 versions of the same deck in a night, they get scrambled in your brain, I guess. But again, what I really liked about this version is that the deserted temples just were able to make a lot of mana even on your non-combo turns, so you get to be way more in on them. Okay, looks like we're good to go. Maybe we'll not play against control for the 3rd time in a row. So we're up against Bryant Cook on the draw, who is a resident Storm aficionado, but seems to not be playing Storm today unless... Okay, something weird. So they've got their own Rumble, milling 2 Grizzly Salvages and an Endurance. This is probably some kind of living end combo. Maybe I can mill over like my Emrakul or some Icetill Explorers. Would have been nice to mill that over. So as much as I do want this deserted temple, I think being able to Karn for like Chalice next turn seems pretty dang nice. Do I want to? I can just play the Saga off the Icetill, so I guess I'll take a second Karn. I guess I probably maybe I get Tormod's Crypt instead of Chalice. I'm gonna grab an Endurance here. Puts a living end into the graveyard. So is it like Electro Dominance and Finale of Promise as the 2 ways to cast it? All right, I cut the crypt for a Grafdigger's Cage. So I guess we'll just grab the... Is Vexing Bauble better than Chalice? Let's get Chalice. Because we can get the Vexing Bauble next turn. We can't do that if the we can't go Chalice. We can go Chalice in the Bauble. We can't go a Bauble into Chalice. Oh, Bloodbrave Marauder, yeah. Of course. So I might just cast a creature here. 5 mana for an Overlord of the Baelmerk. Interesting deck. Okay, really regretting not... I guess I can get the lands from the yard this turn, maybe? So let's grab our camera. Everybody get your camera. Seems like a good game to just kind of cast stuff and see how it goes. Let's get a forest. Tap, tap, tap. Overgrowth here. Tap for 4 mana. Icetill Explorer. Back the Deserted Temple to untap the Weathertop here. We should be able to combo kill pretty easy next turn. Just grab an Ensnaring Bridge. I guess I can also play a Stirrings. Another Deserted Temple, I think, over Emrakul. Because I might need to go like sack the Urza's, or I'm planning on going sack the Urza's Cave for Magosi, untap with the Weathertop, and then play this Weathertop to combo off. Stirrings fail to find kind of real. Well, yeah. The thing is, like, if they living in somehow, this is just gonna give everything too much power to attack. I don't have any shifting woodlands in the build. I did think about playing it. This gets kind of tight. Cathartic Pyre. Discarding a Living End and a Stomping Ground. It's not clear to me if the 15 or 13 man Emrakul is better. It's like clearly 13 to me. So they put a Boseiju in their hand. A step in the right direction. Yeah, you don't get the film counters if you copy camera. Copying Icetill can be kind of nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and start casting. I'm gonna need to get a Heath to get a breeding pool here. No, I milled the breeding pool. Ugh. No way, I just milled the breeding pool. So now the problem is... Oh, I guess I... Wait, do I just have infinite mana? Always hold priority. Wait, I milled it from the Icetill trigger. No, this needs to tap for 5, right? So if I go untap this copy, the activate ability to untap this and this. Oh no, it is infinite. It is infinite with rings. So do I have enough mana to... I think I do. I think I do. Because I have another Weather Top in my hand. So I can go 7, cast Karn, 3 mana floating, copy the Karn activation, get a rings. Okay, looks like I can make infinite mana, but I cannot. I can make infinite green mana, but I cannot pop off with it. Stupid breeding pool. Okay, let's see if Brian wants to still playing, or Brian wants to keep playing against the Karn. Because I can go rings into infinite mana. So if I go Karn minus pay 2, cast rings. Yeah, I'm just 1 mana short of going infinite. No Bliss on the sideboard. I can go infinite after I minus the Karn, but I can't copy the Karn minus, and I can't. Oh no, it's okay. It's fine. I can still win. With the Urza's Caves, I can win. Because I get to untap the Urza's Caves, and I get to copy the Urza's Caves ability. Okay, play a rings, get a ring, play rings, ring. Yeah, because I'll get to go infinite here. It's gonna take forever, but although I guess I could also mill the Magosi through Boseiju. I guess not through Boseiju. I don't know how interested Bryant is in Boseijuing my Overgrowth though. Oh my, okay, I messed up the infinite combo because I forgot to untap the the Deserted Temple. And I'll just embarrassingly pass back here instead. Sorry, I need to target the Deserted Temple, and then each loop generates 1 mana. It would have been such a nightmare to click through this turn, so that maybe this is even for the best. But we would have made infinite mana, and then eventually when we have infinite mana, we can start to untap the Urza's Caves, and then we can get the Magosi to take infinite turns. And Boseiju the temple. Yeah, your opponent could also Boseiju to break it up. So I do think we could have taken a little bit more of an interactive line instead because of the Boseiju. I was mostly just trying to figure out, like, can we combo this turn? Which is, I think, also not that important overall here. Again, milling the breeding pool was really stopped us from just immediately taking the infinite turns. Although my opponent might also Boseiju my Magosi. Let's go ahead and Needle Boseiju, I guess. And then grab a Vexing Bauble also. You just replay it then. Well, it's a little bit weird, right? Because if I go Urza's Cave for Magosi, untap Urza's Cave, untap Magosi with Deserted Temple, skip my turn, untap the Magosi, extra turn. In response to the untap of Magosi, if Bryant besages that, then he gets to take 2 extra turns, which I'm not super interested in letting happen. Okay, so let's bring in the Vexing Bauble because we can get it off Saga, and then we can still get Chalice off of Karn. Probably just down the Emrakul. Infinite turns with Icetill mills you out though, right? How do we not lose to drawing with an empty deck? That's a good point. So you're just gonna have to kill them instead of dying to your Icetill is the short answer, which I don't think is gonna be the biggest problem with you're gonna mill your Urza Sagas, you're gonna make tokens, you're gonna continue to progress your board state because you have the extra land drops. You're going to be making Saga tokens to attack your opponents as part of these turns. The Sagas that you play are going to get more recorders to take more turns. So I don't think it should be that big a problem. Maybe it's more of a problem if you have double Icetill in play. How do you take infinite turns once you run out? Infinite turns is when you get the rings off of the Karn. I also, to some extent, did just kind of feel like putting... This is a combo that takes like 9 turns and kills your opponent. I didn't exactly feel like that was a high quality stream title. Not even like on a clickbait level. I think it's just confusing to phrase it that way. So I don't know. Maybe it should have been. Is the stream title? Oh, it's not even in the title anymore. It's in the go live notification. I just thought it was too confusing. How do you beat Magus / Fish / Moon? I don't know. Cast a card, I guess. Start making infinite Saga tokens, maybe. The deck's list unlocked feels missing 3 cards. Oh, it only has 1 Ancient Stirrings. I don't even know how that would have happened. Okay, they get a Verdant Catacombs. So I think we just play Overgrowth this turn. The Deserted Temple gives me a little bit of an extra mana boost with the Overgrowth also. They rumble, they mill over a Bloodbraid Marauder. Is what they choose. Then they pass the turn. Let's just go ahead and float mana, grab a second camera. I think that's better than mapping this turn since we've got the Urza's Caves. We draw another copy of Overgrowth. So let's go ahead and cast this Overgrowth here. Then play one of our 2 Urza's Caves. Then untap. We should be able to go off next turn. Didn't find the Karn I was necessarily hoping for. There's the Magosi, which I think is better than taking the Karn, since if my opponent living ends, I can't replay the Magosi from the graveyard. I'm kind of expecting them to like besage the Bauble end of turn, but they didn't, so that's obviously good news. But I can copy the Deserted Temple untap with one of my 2 cameras, and then I can go off with the other camera here. Although I guess I do need to play this Breeding Pool. This looks like a slow Ammo Titan hand. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, Ammo Titan is the best deck in Modern. When you build a land-focused combo, it's not going to be better than Amulet a lot of the time. To a big extent here, like we are exploring this combo, seeing how competitive it is, finding the best version. And so when things about the format change, new cards getting printed, unbans happening, bans happening, new tech being found, we can figure out where to go from here. I do not think this is a better big mana deck than Amulet Titan, but there's also no deck in Modern that's better than Amulet Titan, as shown by the PT win rate. Okay, so tick this up. Let me play the Breeding Pool first. So we're gonna go untap here. We're gonna copy that. It'll be pretty fun if Bryant besages my Magosi. What did Titan lose to? I think Titan had a negative matchup against Goryo's, but I think it had a very negative matchup against Neoform. It weirdly had a favorable matchup against Belcher at the PT, which is something that, you know, you would usually think is very very inaccurate. Oh no, oh sorry. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the window to besage you was in response to this tap, but we could have just copied the untap and not having, we wouldn't have skipped our turn, but we would have let Bryant just take his turn as normal. All right, and that's good enough. And it's kind of wordy to say all of that every single time, but maybe I should. Okay, we're on the play for round 2 here. The sample size, yeah, low confidence is what you're supposed to call the small sample size. Speaking of low confidence, one thing Titan is it faced mostly the better matchups, where something like Neoform had its worst matchup more often. So I guess one thing that's kind of interesting about that point is that I think a lot of players went into this event thinking that Belcher was one of the best decks, if not like maybe even the best deck in the format against Titan. But despite that belief or that thought, I also thought it was one of the best ones. But it even had a favorable matchup against Belcher in the event, which is really weird. If I'm reading those bars right, it means no deck did better than others in a statistically significant way. I don't know. 57% is, and like also prowess having like 60% is significantly higher. I don't know. Like Boros Synergy had 43, that's significantly higher. Neoform had 45, that's significantly higher. Belcher was significantly higher. Esper Blink significantly higher. Domain Zoo. Like Prowess and Titan and Control were the good decks. These were the bad decks. Tron was mid, but very, very bad against Titan. I don't know how you interpret and say like maybe this is a good time to talk about how a lot of Magic players think that like what is a broken win rate to you, you know? Because it is really, really rare that over a big sample size anything gets even this high. Like even this high is like this is like kind of dangerous levels for competitive Magic in general, you know. It's hard to make strong conclusions from one event because the sample size is so small. Yeah, sure. Of course, this isn't a perfect number anyways, but it's also just my main point of Amulet Titan had the best record at the Pro Tour. This is what this chart says, even though Amulet isn't at the very top. Okay, I might Karn for Chalice here. Like 55 and over is really, really high. And so like I think I think that the players who don't see data like this that often, or I don't even know exactly who I'd put in this category, but it does seem like players look at a 57% win rate and they're like, that's not too bad. It's only, you know, 7% higher than the 50% win rate decks. Like greater than 60% is like emergency ban territory, and this is like I think what maybe a lot of players don't understand, that over a huge sample size greater than 60 is like emergency ban. Hogak at PT Barcelona was 56.2, less than Titan. Yeah, I know. It's like, I just don't think that people understand that 57 is like an insane number. To be fair, it makes sense that pros perform well on a skill-intensive deck. Sure, I don't think anyone is ever arguing that, you know. I think this is one thing to Titan too, is it's like the skill ceiling is so much higher in Titan, I think, than any other archetype in the format. Like, you can only leverage your skills so much in most archetypes, but in Titan, like, the skill ceiling is way higher. 57% with a 13-0 matchup. The other individual matchups are way more balanced. I mean, I think that that's true. The 13-0 skews things to some extent. Although that is like 10% of the total matches, so I don't know. 47 against Gorios. 60% against Belcher is crazy. Like, the fact that it was even better against Boros was something that was very surprising. Very bad against Neoform, 1-4 against Neoform. Worst matchup in the field, probably. Yeah, I know Tron did really well against everything besides Titan. I know about the 13-0. I know about the 13-0. Although this is also part of the problem with Amulet Titan, is if your deck structurally has a very tough matchup, there's like almost nothing you can do. This is, you know... I even think that the 13-0 is a big part of the problem with this deck, is that if your archetype structurally good against the whole field, there's one deck, Amulet Titan, not the most popular deck. The matchup is like, it's like kind of unfixable. It's like just completely unfixable, which is something I think is usually a negative for me here. Amulet Titan simply attracts the higher skill modern players. I think that this attitude is also a little weird and elitist, but it's I think more accurate to say like I don't know, like if you look at like the people you would think are the best in the world, like, you know, the Gabriel Deceifs and the Reed Dukes of the world, like how many of them are playing Amulet at the PT? Almost none of them, you know. So to say that the best players play it is also, I think, not exactly true necessarily. Everyone at the Pro Tour is very good, you know. Everyone at the Pro Tour is very good. Tron always has those matchups though. Historically, it's been 30% to beat Burn. 30% is really different from 0%, but I guess there's a difference between polarized and then just like actually unfixable. But like I think in general in Magic, when you have a linear combo deck like Titan, it is a bad thing when you can't choose to sideboard and be even get that matchup to like close to 50%. You can't choose to warp your sideboard to help it. I think that ends up being problematic. Multiple players interviewed at the PT stated they didn't think they were good enough to play Amulet, so it's plausible there's some relationship between perceived skill and deck choice. Maybe. Although I just think that's attitude. The best players play Amulet. It's like a little weird. It's a little elitist. The deck is also like, I don't know. There's just a lot to say about it, and I think that these games are getting old, and the conversation's getting old too, I guess. And with the card spike, what's banned once day? I've said I want to ban many times, but it's just the conversations get so old. But you can. I don't know why ramp players decided to go with E-Tron and not E-Ramp. Matchup was still favored for Amulet. E-Ramp was playing Land Destruction Moon, which is insanely effective. Insanely effective. I mean, you could also look at the win rate against for Eldrazi against Titan. They did win some matches, but it was like 2-7 or something along those lines instead of significantly lower. Yeah, I've died on turn 3 to Spelunking enough to not feel like an Amulet ban even kills the deck. I don't know. It's it's a conversation we've had a lot of. It's okay if you have a different opinion on the subject than me. Don't feel like we need to keep reiterating it over and over again. There's definitely something to be said about deck choice. Belcher having a terrible win rate is probably at least partially a result of the deck being cheap and perceived as easy to pilot. Okay, card price is not a factor for Pro Tour deck selection. Almost at all. This is maybe the case for someone who it's their first Pro Tour, they don't have a team, they're in college, they're on a budget. Maybe that comes up a little bit. The vast majority of pros are testing on a team. They have a big pool of cards. Everyone brings all their modern cards. Everyone knows people they borrow cards from. card availability is just not like if you're going to travel to a pro tour, you're going to book a hotel, you're going to spend months planning. You're going to borrow or buy the deck you want to play, you know. Yeah, even at the RC level, but especially at the pro tour level. Yeah, let's take a look at the I do want to see what the quantum energy was like against Amulet. So Azurius Blink against Amulet was, I've lost it, 25%. Only 4 matches though. Do I single or double receive my cards? Usually single. Does Amulet fall off if Amulet is banned? Serious question. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Let's answer next question. Is that, are you talking to me? Oh, you're responding to it wouldn't be called Amulet. I don't know. I think that you could still play the deck. I've died on turn 3 to just spelunking enough to feel like the deck would still exist in Modern. It would take away part of the biggest problem of the archetype is the turn 2 kills also. And the fact that all of the good sideboard cards against it are 3 mana is very problematic against the deck that can kill you turn 2 and kills you turn 3 really often. If you're like, even when you're on the play with your 3-drop, you sometimes just have died to the combo. It's like very often you need interaction into interaction, or interaction into hate card. Yeah, also like Scapeshift 4 lands or you know, Titans splunking 4 lands or Amulet or splunking plus Scapeshift and 4 lands being lethal is that is also something I agree that feels pretty egregious. It would not exist in Modern. What makes it good is the density of amulets that comes from the fact that if you have 8 amulets in the form of Saga, the deck is already mulligan heavy. Maybe you can actually still play 8 amulets in the deck, or even more than that, because there's also a creature that it functions as an amulet that you could green sun for. You could play 4 Spelunkings, you could play the creature that amulets also, and have a really high density of turn 3 kills in your deck still. Yes, the Boltable Amulet, very playable. I know it's not a 1 mana colorless artifact you can cheat into play with Urza Saga, but you can play 1 as a Green Sun target and play 4 Spelunkings. Oh no, my opponent might interact with me and I can't kill them on turn 3. Unplayable. Graveyard that because we can just play it off the Icetill. Yeah, I will not be playing a deck if I can't play 16 copies of the best card. I think I'm just going to Haywire Mite the Spelunking this turn. I guess I can explore and into Haywire Mite. Am I arguing that Amulet keeps the deck in the meta, or that it's good or bad? I think Spelunking being redundant and duplicates makes it less threatening. Am I arguing that Amulet keeps the deck in the meta? Amulet is the best deck in the format, in my opinion. And I think that the deck would go from like a 57% win rate at the PT to still close to 50% if Amulet was banned. Amulet is the most powerful mana generating card in Modern's history. Having 2 of them makes turn 3 wins, turn 2 wins pretty easy. I think the deck would still exist if Amulet was banned. And we'll keep having this conversation until at least November, I think. It's Ski with the Twitch Prime. Thanks, welcome back. For what it's worth, Storm has proven if the card you need to stay in play as a creature, the deck isn't great. Yeah, but you also have Spelunking. It's like you have Ral and Ruby, you have Spelunking, and then Green Sun for Minstrel. Better than Cloudpost. So someone did bring that up. I didn't even actually know Cloudpost was legal in Modern for the first Pro Tour. So I do think it's better than Cloudpost maybe, but it's I might be wrong about that. I don't have a lot of experience with Cloudpost existing. Like, look, my opponent cast the amulet this turn. It's already made 2 mana. It's gonna make it's gonna make a bunch more mana. I don't know. Should have got Coating. Maybe. If I get Coating, I'm like dead to Scape Shift is the thing, right? What is Tron doing against this? I mean, this is the kind of the problem. Tron was 0-13 against them with the PT. There are not really good sideboard plans you can have. Like Stonebrain doesn't do it, and Stonebrain is also too slow. Your hate for Titan is surreal. Cloudpost was way better. It'd be better nowadays. Well, I think that the card that was legal in Modern for one tournament 15 years ago isn't a very important thing to talk about. It's a card I've never seen in action in Modern. To say your hate for Titan is surreal, like, I don't hate Titan. I just have been feeling like objectively for over a year, if not more than that, it's been a very problematic deck in the format, and I think Modern would be better without these play patterns, and the deck would still exist if Amulet was banned. This has always been my point, and because you're a Titan player, you feel personally attacked at this point. We're just coming off of a Pro Tour where Titan had the best win rate of any deck that had more than 20 matches played. Every game against Titan feels like this, where players are taking a super long time. You can die out of nowhere. It's just... I don't know. I'm sharing my opinion on my stream here. I also, you know, I don't know. I like Amulet players would be like, what about Cloud Post? and act like this is in any way like a productive conversation. Yeah, what about Cloud Post? It's just like, what are we talking about? Okay, can I combo? So I can go Icetill into Magosi, and then I can play another land. So Magosi. The thing is, the Magosi enters tapped. And I have another Deserted Temple. I don't think we can get there this turn. We could have got there if they didn't bounce the Icetill, so maybe this was a really heads-up play. I thought they were going to hold up the Beseiju. Yeah, I think because the ice still got bounced, we just aren't going to be able to combo. Alright, let's move the fuck on. Am I keeping this on the play? I think we can. Okay, so we can take the camera. Set up for a somewhat fast combo here. I think turn 4. The Overgrowths are pretty bad against the Myco spawns, huh? Oh, the Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter deck is so gross here. Are the Gold Leagues gone? I'm not sure. I think we're just passing here. They do tap the Ghost Quarter. And then they play another Ghost Quarter. Okay, maybe the combo's a little slow. Let's, I think, move on. I've had another deck that's been kind of in the back of the queue for a little while.